Just how breathtaking must a shelter be to attract 34 million people and keep them watching for 2.5 years? Some even say if they were a tree, they'd be honored to become part of this home. At 30 years old, Harry left the smog-filled city behind to protect his family, venturing alone into the wild. For 6 long years, he worked with thousands of century-old logs to build the largest log home in the wilderness. And just forming the outer shell took him 2.5 years. Let's watch how Harry achieved all this. The sleeping forest wakes to the echo of his tools. These are mountain firs, each trunk this wide weighs hundreds of kilos. A trailer is the only way he can haul them out of the woods. He chose a hillside to build on, so his family could watch the sunset every day. A home blessed by the sky. To make this last for generations, Harry needed countless logs. Every single one had to be stripped by hand, a task that devours time and strength. From autumn to spring, he never stopped. After months, he barely had half the timber needed. He widened his log hauling sled again and again. Exhausted, he'd pause soaking in rivers, mountains, sunsets, wind, and golden skies, all witnessing the birth of a new home, nature herself cheering him on. As he shaped each log, he marked and numbered them, noting every diameter. Because every log would serve a precise role, placed in its perfect spot. Time passed quietly, and by the second autumn, he had dozens of logs ready. Still nowhere near enough for a family home, he had 4 mouths to shelter. At least 3 bedrooms and 2 living spaces. Winter returned, and he kept cutting mountain fir, peeling bark through snow and wind. He kept measuring, log after log. Before he knew it, he had over 100 finished giants, each a century old. To ensure stability, he mapped the foundation on the snow, then carved deep pits with an excavator. Each log weighed hundreds of kilos. The base had to be rock solid. Whenever fatigue crept in, the mountains healed him. Only then did he truly feel nature's beauty and the vastness of the earth. When snow melted, he prepared molds, poured concrete into the pits, and shaped each footing. Days later, the foundation for his cabin was born. Now, the real building began. Huge logs impossible for one person to move easily. But for his family's future, he pushed through every hardship. Careful calculations and a trailer's help finally lifted the first upright beam. To seal the home from mountain winds, each log had to be cut precisely. This is what true tight-fit craftsmanship looks like. Once the frame stood strong, every log stacked on top needed grooves carved into its belly to lock perfectly into the logs below. and seal every joint with insulating wool. With a process this meticulous, what perfectionist wouldn't be satisfied? Over the next 2 months, Harry relied on careful calculations and patient craftsmanship, raising the log walls to half a man's height. After 2.5 years of wind and rain, these timbers were seasoned through rot, was no longer a threat. At last, on a bright morning, Harry completed all 4 walls. But one man couldn't do everything. So he invited his brother-in-law to help, and together they began framing the terrace. With that first positioning post done, Harry started laying the joists. After 2.5 years of labor, the exterior silhouette finally stood complete. Such clean, orderly joinery, most crews wouldn't dare claim they could match it. Late autumn beauty became his best reward. Today, Harry set out to build a storage rack. You can see at one point 8 meters tall, he's still not a third the height of his house. With his brother-in-law's help, the job was done quickly. Next, he made a temporary staircase ever precise. He used a spirit level. Once the steps were set, the rain kept falling, so Harry went to take in the view. Cloud seas spilling like rivers, mountain moon hidden in clouds, dusk swallowing mist, a sky of burning haze. As autumn leaves began to fall, Harry started a new day's work. With his brother-in-law around, everything felt a bit easier. But even with 2 men, moving those massive logs was still tough. For a better future for his family, Harry felt every hardship was worth it. They fashioned a log slide, then used a trailer to haul timbers to the roof. Harry laid planks across the top. He wasn't stopping at a single story. With a floor in place, he could frame the next level. After that, the 2 of them went back to debarking logs. A task that continued until the land turned white. His brother-in-law, a solid guy, had helped for months already. After a little horsing around, they set a frame with planks, cut along the outer line, and sawed open the front door. Each of these logs was bigger than a big-headed kid's head. With a door in place, they no longer had to climb and jump inside. To make the doorway sturdier, at first light the next day, they mixed cement again to set more footings. This would carry the terrace above. Harry cut saddles into the century logs, then used a pulley to fix them onto the base. The second floor's load-bearing shot straight to max. Then his brother-in-law had errands to handle, so Harry was back to working alone. On an evening soaked in sunset, he finally finished the terrace frame. He cut grooves into every crossbeam, then started on the staircase. It was only a skeleton of a home, but already simple and grand. The next day, Harry prepared to frame the second story. Good news, his brother-in-law returned, and with his help integrating the framing went much smoother. The rebar used to anchor it was as thick as a finger. With the frame assembled, hauling it up to the second floor was the real headache. Best solution, as always, a pulley system. After an afternoon of effort, they finally lifted the A-frame into place. Harry double-checked the measurements. Something looked a bit off. Not the frame, the locating log was skewed. After fixing the front frame, he repeated the same method to build the opposite side. No wonder this home is built to last generations. Its framing is rock solid, a match even for a hurricane. He even showed off with a spinning throwing axe. For the connectors, he used heavy rebar bolts. When the migratory birds headed south, Harry began tying the frames together. Soon his wife and kids came to help. With that lift in spirit, the fatigue seemed to vanish. In a month's time, he finished the roof ridge line. Even in gale force winds, the house didn't sway a bit. With the insulation layer installed, all that remained was laying the roof planks. With his wife's help, he nailed boards along the ridge battens. Just a quarter of the roof took the two of them a full week. As they laid boards, Harry also installed waterproofing. With family beside him, the work was faster and lighter on the heart. Before the fourth summer arrived, one side of the roof was complete. Once summer heat set in, he sent his family home to rest and called in his toolman, brother-in-law again. The brother-in-law worked fast on roofing. The other side was done in a few days. With the roof wrapped, Harry started framing the front and back of the second floor. The work carried on into early autumn. He joked with butterflies for a moment, then began sheathing the front and rear walls. He had reserved 4 window openings in the frame. A house this large needed generous light. And of course, the waterproof layer followed. Under the harsh sun, Harry had grown far darker than years before. With his son's help, he finished the top side of the insulation as well. On a dewy, crystal-clear morning, soft and gleaming with moisture, Harry completed the second-floor front wall. At last, with a breather, he began laying the first-floor decking. To block ground moisture, he laid a barrier beneath the joists first. Whenever exhaustion hit, he'd hike the slope to savor the view cloud seas rolling sunset beads glowing like pearls, and cherish each day with his family. He didn't rush the second-floor decking. First, he set the upstairs windows. The views here were too beautiful. He wanted to frame them forever. Working alone on the second-floor windows cost him 2 full days. Hard work, yes, but that sunlight pouring through deserved applause. For winter warmth, he packed insulating wool through the core of the house. Days slipped by, one after another, and when Harry came to his senses, another winter had already arrived. He finally began laying the first-floor decking. Of course, the gaps between joists don't hold warmth. When the world turned clear and bright with frost, Harry set the last plank of the ground floor. Now he could craft the front door itself. A home this fine deserved a solid all-wood door. If not for going off-grid, he'd have fitted a fingerprint lock for sure. Once the door was built, he brushed on preservative varnish. With this grain and heft, no price could make him trade it. Now, the all-timber structure was, at last, truly complete. Next, Harry would perfect the interior. Before moving in, he took a sander to the walls, polishing them to a cleaner, slicker finish. He breathed plenty of dust, but seeing the walls gleam almost like glass filled him with quiet pride. With the first floor done, he climbed to sand the second. His gift for his 32nd birthday was a mouthful of sawdust. When he finished, he spotted a massive stump by the roadside, perfect raw material for furniture. He rough-cut it on site, then trailered it back home. The grain told of centuries. Harry planned to turn it into a dining table. He stripped the bark clean, and the log looked reborn. Hauling hundreds of kilos indoors was no small feat. Luckily, the science-minded builder ran the numbers precisely and winched it in with a pulley system. Then he brought in milled planks, sealed every beam in the house with preservative, and only then set the second-floor boards. His craftsmanship scored a perfect 10, finer than a master tiler's eye. At first light, the upstairs floor lay fully in place. He reserved this opening for the staircase, then finally started cleaning. Dust filled the air. You could almost feel it through the screen. The mounds of sawdust weighed into the hundreds of kilos. When the sweeping was done, he brushed a protective coat on the walls, stopping rot and making them look even better. With that finished, Harry prepared to insulate the second floor, but a blizzard rose outside. Good thing the house was vast, it barely noticed the storm. He kept working through the whiteout, setting insulation. Sunset slanted over the snow, and the world looked like a winter fable, a sign that a new year was near. With dawn came fresh resolve. He installed the insulation framing. Not only did he pack in wool, he also routed warm water pipes to keep the upstairs evenly heated. To capture every bit of warmth, before laying the floorboards, he stuffed an extra layer of insulation between joists. 2 weeks of steady work later, the job was done. Even as the blizzard raged outside, he could stand at home wearing nothing but a t-shirt proof of just how well the house held heat. The harsh weather still forced a long pause in work. By the time work resumed, spring had arrived. He set about partitioning the second floor rooms. Power tools helped a lot, but working alone still meant slow progress. After chiseling mortises in the load posts, he locked the crossbeams into place. This outer section was reserved for the staircase, just as planned. While he worked, his brother-in-law finally learned how to supervise, reading on the side like a foreman. In Harry's layout, the second floor would hold 3 rooms. With early spring weather so kind, he decided to install the roofing sheets first. Up there, he only had waterproof underlayment. With his brother-in-law and a friend helping, they fixed the metal tiles to the ridge battens. 2 extra pairs of hands sped everything up. After 3 days, the roof tiling was complete. Now Harry could return to the interior. Because the first floor didn't get much light, he sought out 3 new windows. With his wife's help, they set the store-bought frames in place. Those warm, bright yellow sashes made the whole room feel cozy. Once the windows were done, with the family pitching in, they hauled in composite flooring. The kids' laughter and games were the best reward for his years of work. After sweeping up the drifts of sawdust from cutting the windows, he finally began laying the floor. Board by board, it came together. The composite's color was great, but footsteps sounded loud. So he added a cork underlayer to hush the noise, then installed the project flooring on top. Now it was much quieter underfoot. Upstairs, he chose knotty pine boards, which were quiet to walk on too. With his family by his side, Harry felt genuinely happy. He even insulated the third floor attic space since it could double as storage. Then it was time to build furniture. He found another handsome log section, a few quick cuts, and it became a natural table leg. After carrying it in with his wife, he built a solid timber frame and mounted the frame to the log. When Harry went upstairs to grab tools, he landed hard. Ouch, that tailbone. After a short rest, he got back to truing the frame. The tabletop blanks would serve as stair treads. Before he could finish, Christmas was already on the doorstep. The house wasn't fully done, but this year he would spend Christmas here. With the kids, he decorated the tree, then brought in a hefty fireplace unit. He cut a hole for the flue through the wall and set the stove in place. The house was still sparse, but with family around, it was a wonderful Christmas. After the holiday, Harry returned to the staircase. He shortened the log supports, setting a comfortable step height. With careful calculations, he made one side stringer. Then, using the same approach, he cut the matching stringer for the other side. After confirming the length was perfect, he took it back down and moved it outside for sanding. Then, following the guidelines he'd sketched, he cut the mortises for the stair treads. But the weather outside was bitterly cold, so he had to bring the work back indoors. Even after cutting, everything needed another careful sanding. Finally, he brushed on a protective coat to resist rot. Once Harry had sanded the treads smooth, he could set them directly into place. Even without a single nail, the treads locked in rock solid. After confirming every tread fit tight, Harry removed them again to varnish. With a staircase like this, he no longer worried about slipping on the climb. Still, the stairs were only half finished. Before refining them further, Harry wanted the kitchen done. He cut the dimensional lumber to length, gave each piece a careful sanding, and fixed them around the fireplace. There was a window here too, so his wife could cook while enjoying the snowy view outside. Harry planned an L-shaped kitchen, and once the framework was tied together, a friend gifted him a sink unit. To let that sink truly match the home, he ripped a stack of boards to laminate a countertop. With the top set in place, he traced and cut the opening to size and dropped the sink in. After sanding, polishing, and varnish, the kitchen looked like something most families couldn't afford. Harry was thoroughly proud of his craftsmanship. Now he could return to the stairs. He found 2 more fine log sections, and after shaping and sanding, they became perfect, sturdy treads. Tired, he paused to admire the winter scenery. Then peeled bark from a few saplings, their branching shapes ideal for sculpted handrails. Once Harry assembled everything, he hung a few pieces from the rafters as decoration. Now, the staircase was practically a work of art. And a pleasure underfoot. Next, Harry planned to extend a wood shed off the side, though that would have to wait a few months. If you've enjoyed Harry's build, tap follow to keep watching. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell so you won't miss any of our next exciting house building videos. Finally, share your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next adventure!